Space has an interesting way of making things feel small. Not just you, but everything you've built. In a void that stretches endlessly, it's strange how something so simple can be so scarce. Back in the overworld, you never really think about it. It's just there. And the more I build here, the more this place reminds me of how little I actually have. Because even something as simple as stone isn't so simple out here. So today, we change that.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of HomeSMP. My name is APuzzledSlime and we are in our massive storage room that we built last episode. I have now officially moved everything over from the overworld into this storage room, and if we take a little hop behind the scenes all the way through here and up here, you can see that I have had a backlog of chests of just all of the items in the overworld that I have brought over, and my copper golems have been put to work. They might have to take some holiday leave or something with the amount of work they're doing. Oh, hello? Oh, okay, here we go. But obviously the storage room is not finished, as you can tell there are no walls or even a ceiling. It's just the void up there. But one thing I realized while building this last episode is that I'm going to need a lot of stone. And I think from some of the designs that I've been coming up with for the walls, we're definitely going to need a lot more stone than we use on this floor. So I think in today's episode, we should solve that issue and try and automate stone production. So because we're in the end, obviously no smooth stone actually naturally spawns out here. So we're going to have to use some sort of cobble generator and TNT machine to automatically generate and then blow up and then collect all of the cobblestone. And then I actually want to smelt it all. So we're also going to need a furnace array. Now, previously, didn't actually make it into an episode. I built this small furnace array over here just to help with a bit of smelting and everything like that. And I think we're going to have to upgrade this, automate it, but I learned a lot from this. But I think we're going to have to dismantle all of this, and we should definitely move it over to our storage room. So looking at the footprint of our base, we are actually, I think, about 50 blocks above the void. So we actually can't build downwards. So in order to do this, we're going to have to go up. And I don't know without looking it up online how tall world height is in the void. So I think let's grab just like a bunch of scaffolding and let's just see how tall this can get. And wait, how do I craft scaffolding? Oh, it's bamboo. It's not sticks. What are we doing? Let's just place the first block here. So let's see how high this goes. Okay, and I think with this we should have reached the top. Now let's just fly up and see how high we can get. Okay, we get up to the top, and I believe this will be build height. Yeah, build height is 255, and we're currently at Y level 55, which means that we have 200 blocks to play with, which I'm not gonna lie, actually isn't as much as I thought it would. But we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I think one of the first things that we're going to have to do is actually come up with an idea of how we want this to look, and then we can figure out the function. So, as we established in the previous episode, we are going to be building a space station floating above the void here in the end. And so far, we have built the cargo hold, which is acting as our storage room. So to follow in suit, I want to house this furnace array inside something that would make sense for a space station. And I feel like it would make sense to have it as kind of the engine or energy core, I guess you could call it. So I think kind of in the center, it'd be pretty cool to have some sort of beam of energy or ball of light that we use to actually kind of power this space station. And then around it have our huge furnace array that then we can have our TNT automatically flow into and smelt. Okay, and now with a plan, we can actually get to gathering the materials ready to start this project. But Before we start, I got something really exciting to show you. We have new robots. Look at them. Look how cute they look. We have a couple new robot designs that have popped up. They seem to be obviously like Goober connected because of the eyes, but we've got this little like floating octopus little guy. And then there's also this guy over here who's got like a little wheel and he has his little arms and they're obviously helping sort things around. And they're so cute. What I've been able to do is utilize the armor stand mod to allow us to create these kind of legs. These literally just use dyed leggings and leather boots as arms that are hidden inside of the observer. And then I've used kind of this design for a robot antenna, which is similar to the stuff that we've got on our headwear, obviously, just to kind of give a little bit of cohesion. And what I want to do is to say a huge thank you to the people that support this channel via Patreon. I actually want to build more of these robots and name them after you lot. Yeah, you're hearing that right. So to commemorate my longest standing paid Patreon member, Odin, we have this very cute flying little bot here. And if you go around the back, you can see that he has his name engraved onto his antenna into the back. And he's of course carrying cherry wood, as that's what he requested. So if you want to get a robot for yourself, head over to my Patreon, and any of the paid tiered memberships will get a robot named after them. Smaller memberships will get these smaller robot guys, and the higher they go, they become more customized, as well as also we have these types of robots for any of the larger ones, and even these biomechs. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly show these off before we get onto the project because I think they're so cute. They look adorable. They're just fun little guys. Right, back to the project at hand. Now that we've got everything outlined, we need to split this project up into 3 main sections. So I'm just trying to remember where everything is in my new storage room. So we're going to need a furnace array. We are then going to need a bamboo farm in order to fuel the furnace array. And of course, we're going to need our cobble generator to smelt into smooth stone. So this is going to be our whole system here. So let us start with the furnace. So creating automatic smelters is actually pretty easy in Minecraft because of the way Mojang have made it so that hoppers interact with furnaces. So if you have a hopper underneath of your furnace, it will automatically pull the items out of the cooked slot. In order to get items into the fuel slot, you have to have a hopper facing into either the sides or the back or even the front. Now what you're able to do is to put in a fuel source, let's just say a block of bamboo, and it will automatically funnel into the smelting slot. Finally, to get items into the furnace, all you've got to do is have a hopper facing in from the top. So this will be our input. Let's say, for example, we put in some cobblestone, sorry. Because there's so much copper everywhere. And what this will do is that it will automatically smelt it. The stone will come out here and then automatically get pulled out over here. So this is what we're going to want to do. What's great about this is that it is infinitely tileable as it is only 1 wide. So we've just got to start scaling this up somewhere up there. I don't really know where. So let's figure that out next. Okay, so I'm just going to build up with obviously our trusty moss blocks to a height that I think I'm comfortable with, considering that we're going to be building the walls around our storage room. I'm going to want to leave enough room that we have enough height to make it look quite grand and epic, and that things can be stacked pretty tall. So we're just going to go up pretty high. Okay, so I think this is about a good enough height. This is going to be plenty far away from the cargo hold, so we shouldn't be able to hit the TNT cannon. So I think now if we just build a bit of a platform so that we can start working. Okay, we have a platform in place, hopefully big enough to house our furnace array. I also have a shulker box of a bunch of just redstone-y bits that I think will help us out, as well as some smooth stone and extra mosses, whatever, just to be able to build some stuff. So I think let's jump straight into it, and let's just put hoppers all the way in. Furnaces on top. Furnaces into the back. And then hoppers on top. Perfect. What I'm going to actually do is extend the back fuel line open a little bit more. This just gives us a little bit more breathing room with the redstone, but also a little bit of extra storage as well because of the hoppers. Hoppers and furnaces in place. Let's now put in a output chest so everything can funnel into this. A line of smooth stone along here. And then we're actually going to run rail all the way around like this. So we just run powered rail all along the hoppers to dispense our fuel. And then we also want to do another line along here to dispense our items to be smelt. So to power these, I am just going to use a lever and a piece of redstone. Switch that on, and then that has turned them both on. Perfect. Okay, let's start working on the loader for the fuel, as this is the less complicated one. So I'm going to want to build a little platform to build upon. And then we're actually going to want a detector rail into a powered rail. But we've got to do a little trick here to have it sit up like that. So as you can see, the powered rail goes up into this block. This just allows it to pop back down. Now we want to use a comparator to read the signal out of the detector rail. That will tell us how many items are actually inside of our minecart. And then we also want to add another hopper here to allow us to customize the output. Then we want to put a piston in to stop the hopper minecart from just constantly going in and out. If we want to load it up, it will come back, piston will extend, and then it will sit around here to allow items to drain in. And in order to do that, we'll put a hopper here. Perfect. And then just on top, we are going to want to put some redstone so that our piston extends. And then finally, we'll just put an input chest for now. This will obviously change as we go on. But this should be our full system up and running. So now let's work on this side of the track, which will load up the items and run across this top set of hoppers to load up the machine. So the way that this works is that we have our standard minecart loader here using this comparator with this signal strength here that turns this piston on. However, we are also reading if this hopper is empty, we actually want to let the minecart out and deliver all of those final items in there, even if it doesn't equal the same as what's inside of this item hopper. But then finally, we have a third system over this side. What this basically does is that if there is nothing inside of the minecart hopper and nothing inside of the hopper, this just still locks the minecart here so that it doesn't just constantly come running around up and down, up and down, up and down. If there is nothing inside the system, it does not need to be going. So that is what this system does here. So in theory, we have a functional minecart system array. Actually, forget that. I forgot the most important part. We literally don't have any minecarts on here. Okay, let me quickly do that. Okay, minecarts acquired. To distribute items into the furnace to smelt, we are actually going to be using a chest minecart. So that should just bounce all the way back and then come and sit here and then sit and just constantly wait until items are in there. And in order to distribute fuel, we are actually just going to be using a minecart hopper that will just run along and again sit here and just wait until there are items in order to be distributed out. So now I think we need to work on the fuel source, which means that we've got to create a bamboo farm on top of this. We're going even higher. Okay, bamboo farms are now in place and they should have already been starting to fuel up our furnaces. Yep, as you can see, we're starting to get a bunch of bamboo planks in this. So let me hop up to show you kind of what's going on here. I might actually, you know what, let's hop into FreeCam. So on top of our furnace array, we have 4 bamboo modules, which is the very simple design of an observer looking at bamboo. And if it grows above, the pistons will break the bamboo, resulting in it all being picked up by these minecarts underneath. We have 4 of the modules and 2 sets of minecarts. So what happens is the minecart picks it up. If it picks up any items, what will happen is that they will get pulled out of this hopper when it pulls around, and the comparator will read that and turn off this powered rail here. This is so that the minecart can stop and just completely offload any of the items. On the top segment, the items just literally flow down a big old hopper chain and meet up with the bottom segment down here. I think this one's going to stop. Yeah, as you can see, it's just stopped and proved the point right there. So what will happen is that when it is completely full, it will craft the bamboo into a bamboo block, which will then go into these hoppers into this crafter here, which then also gets powered and turns it into bamboo planks. That means that we can have double the amount of fuel as if we were just going to craft it once or just use normal bamboo in itself. What I've done is I've also upgraded our fuel storage system. So as you can see here, we've got a huge backlog of chests, which just allow all the fuel to run through. And once everything completely backs up, we actually can just have up to 6 full double chests and a bunch of hoppers as well of storage of the planks as well, I felt. But yeah, that's our fuel source sorted. Now we need to obviously work on the cobble farm itself. So in order to get this built, all we're going to do is do a quick little And there we have it. We have our functional TNT cobblestone generator up at the top that automatically generates as cobble, destroys it, and sends it all the way down into our furnace array, automatically smelting everything up. As we can see down here, if I just squeeze past these Endermen, you can see that all the furnaces are going and we are slowly getting TNT dispensed into all of them. As you can see, the minecart going up and along. The cobblestone is getting blown up by this TNT that falls into this chamber that then gets funneled down through here, collected by our hoppers and a kind of backup of chests just to allow us to get extra stone if we need, which then all of course funnels all the way down this hopper chain down into our minecart, which then obviously goes along the furnaces like that. Now, this is not my design for a cobblestone farm. I got this online, so I will make sure to put a link in the description to it if you want to replicate this yourself. So now all I've got to do is repeat this exact design 2 more times for the other 2 walls of our engine room. So as you guys have seen me make this once before, I'm not going to put you through that again. So while I do this, why don't you guys go off and check in on a little adventure that I had the other day. So I was out by the mesa the other day, just kind of going through the caves, trying to get a bunch of gold for a bunch of the powered rails for this farm. And I randomly stumbled across another fossil. Yeah, I had already found one last episode and I managed to find a spine this time. So I decided to actually just excavate the whole thing from the mesa and bring it back, as well as then go and collect the skull one as well, because I thought that this is quite a rare occurrence to find these fossils. And I managed to find 2 back to back pretty recently. So I wanted to create a bit of an area to kind of display this rare item. So I found a little spot in the corner of our minigame district over by the shopping district and kind of just moved it all out and terraformed it a little bit to give myself a bit of a platform and some working room. And then I decided to build up a bit of a display for our fossil. I'd taken it into a creative world and kind of mashed it together, fixed it all up and made it look all shiny and new again. And I wanted to give it a nice little kind of display with some sand and some desert foliage, kind of like a dinosaur archaeology site type of thing. Okay, and there we have it. We have our little display for our kind of bone sets that we've discovered. They fit actually quite perfectly. I copied it and rebuilt it over in a creative world so I could get everything correct, and even added some like plaster fixings to make all the bones look good. So I decided to make a little bit of a display because I feel like HomeSMP doesn't really have an area just to kind of showcase some of the cool things that we found or have done, and kind of just want to create a bit of like showcase of the history of the server. So I thought maybe I could take up this kind of corner of our kind of mini games area and maybe turn it into like a museum cove or a museum street or something where other players can come and build little kind of trophies or pedestals to kind of put some of the really cool things that they found on the server, and we can kind of populate it. And when the world download comes out at the end of the season, you lot can always come back and have a look at all the cool things that all of the players have done. But I want to turn our first exhibit into a little bit of a competition that involves other HomeSMP members and also you lot. So I want to come up with a name for this dinosaur. You know, at the Natural History Museum in London, they have like the big whale statue. I think it's called like Hope or something. I don't know. I can't remember what the name is. I thought it'd be quite fun to kind of have a name for this dinosaur. But instead of you lot just putting names in the comments and me picking the best, I'm actually going to go around and ask all the other HomeSMP members for name suggestions, and then you lot get to pick from the list which one you like the best, and then we can name and memorialize this little kind of dinosaur statue forever. Let's go invite a couple of HomeSMP members and get them to write their name suggestions down in this book.
Hello.
Wait, where'd you go? Oh, you're up there. Welcome to my fossil. What do you think, Raven? Do you like it?
I love it. I'm very excited to be here.
It looks amazing.
It's a nice fossil.
It's nice. That's really fun.
But I wanted to bring you here just to kind of showcase this area because I have some really fun plans for this. So obviously, as fossils are pretty rare in Minecraft, and I managed to find 2 of them pretty recently, I thought I'd kind of create a bit of a display here to kind of show off all of the rarity of it. And I thought maybe we could turn this area of our kind of mini games district into a bit of like a museum street or a museum cove, and maybe have some really fun rare things. You know, maybe people can just build little like display cases or little plinths and things like that, where you can kind of just show off some of like maybe the rare stuff that you found throughout the season.
Oh yeah, I love that.
True. Yeah, that sounds like a really fun idea.
But to kick things off, I wanted to kind of throw a little bit of a competition where my viewers get to pick a name, but I'm asking HomeSMP members to suggest a name for this fossil.
Okay.
It's not just me you're asking to do this. You're asking.
No. There are lots of people asking, but you have a chance to win naming it.
So I didn't know the rules completely. So it's one name, but it's a scientific one and a nickname.
Do you mind if I take a closer look?
Yeah, no, go for it. Go have a look.
I do have a name in mind just from looking at the fossil.
It's got a nice wide skull there. Good depth of field. Probably a large brain.
Interesting. The name can be anything.
Anything you want.
Hello? Knock knock? Is this thing hollow?
I kind of get sniffer vibes from it.
You know what? This might be controversial.
This is a pretty good rib. Nice good rib right here.
It kind of looks like it has eye holes this way.
Wide rib cage.
So I feel like it might not have been a rib cage. I think those are legs.
No legs? No legs.
This is kind of like a huge kind of like millipede type deal. So I want to suggest the name Millie.
Millie? I love that name.
Does look like a Jeffrey.
A Jeffrey? I know somebody that's going to really hate that name.
Yeah, make sure you spell it right.
How are you spelling it?
GH.
GH?
Did it have a tail?
The scientific name I have when I looked at this was Discordosaurus.
Okay.
Wow, look at all this stomach space.
Double E.
Okay.
OF.
OF.
The name I had in mind is Giganticus snificus.
Gigantic.
It's a pretty powerful bite on this guy.
RIE.
RIE.
Why?
So I think the very most perfectest name for this guy, to truly demonstrate, all the different features of his species, would be the Mine Gastrosaurus.
The what? Sorry.
The Mine Gastrosaurus.
You want to take a look?
Does it look like I can't spell?
I don't know if you want me to answer that, Happy.
Yeah, that's Jeffrey. Yeah.
That looks good to me.
Yes, that's perfect.
No, not like that.
Oh, damn it.
So you're also missing an E.
Close enough.
Close enough?
Oh,
Okay. Just punch me as well. Okay, sure. I'll let my viewers know that that's your name suggestion. I will be in touch if if your name has been selected. But thank you for your time, Raven. Yeah, I will see you soon.
Yes, I'll be back to name all the other species that you find.
Oh God.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you, Sub. See you later.
I will see you later.
Bye-bye. Off you go. On your way. Go on.
All right. Bye.
Thank you, Topsy. Bye-bye. It is always a pleasure hanging out with HomeSMP members. Everything always goes so smoothly. But we now have a list of different names for the fossil behind us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them up on screen right now because I do have a couple extra submissions that people just DM'd me on Discord. So make sure to put your favorite name down in the comments, and whichever is most popular, I will name this fossil right on here. Okay, so we now have the 3 versions of the farm up and running, which will be our 3 walls. We'll have one here, one there, and then another wall over here with our entrance. As you can see, I've got a little moss pathway around just so we can get between the 3 of them. And obviously I have upgraded a few of them. So I've kind of what I like to call smartify them. So they're all a little bit smarter and kind of each system kind of connects to each other. So if I just pop up into FreeCam, I can kind of show you what we've got going on. So obviously we have our furnaces in the middle, and on the left side we have our input. Here is just some chests that we can dump the items in, or alternatively we have a shulker box unloader over here. And what happens is that it all gets sent up this dropper chain here and into our furnace array. So this has 2 inputs, either from the cobblestone farm itself, or we can manually put items in, which means that this is a dual purpose kind of furnace array, which is really, really nice. The next thing we have is on the left side here, we actually have our on and off switch. So I need to put a button here. But what we're able to do is that the signal gets sent all the way up and across and actually turns the cobble farm on and off. What's really nice about this though as well is that we have some smart systems that if all the cobblestone starts to back up and I accidentally leave the farm on, it will automatically turn itself off, which is really, really nice. So that is the left side all sorted. But on the right, we obviously have our output system here with a bunch of copper chests. And then on the right side, we actually have a fuel gauge. So these lights will turn on, starting from the bottom all the way up to the top, depending on how much fuel we have backed up in the storage. Now, obviously, we have only just built these things, so there's not actually going to be enough bamboo planks to actually kind of stock up the array yet. As you can see from behind, we have a few kind of spaghetti noodles of redstone that link all the way around here that indicate how full our system is. And what's also really nice is that if we get completely backed up, the bamboo farms will actually turn off by forcing the pistons to extend and stopping any of the bamboo from growing, which is really, really nice. So yeah, this is really, I'm really happy with this. I think it's a really fun design. I kind of just came up with a few different farm designs off the top of my head and then just kind of jammed them all together into one circuit. And it's a little bit ugly now, but obviously we will be having big walls to kind of cover this. However, we have a big, huge, major problem. I have actually built this whole unit 1 block too far over. Everything is supposed to be 1 block that way. I miscounted when doing the MOS. That does mean that I have to tear it all down and rebuild it 1 block over to make everything symmetrical. So let's go do that, shall we? Okay, and there we have it. We have rebuilt. Oh, I have rebuilt the farm up in the actual right place. We have pushed it back 1 more so it lines up perfectly with what our room dimensions will be. And what's super exciting is that you can see we have 1 light on, which means that we are starting to get a backup of fuel into our system on this one, which is really nice, which means that we can actually start using the farm soon. I probably won't use it just yet. I want it to probably at least be at this light first. We can now actually start working on making this a little bit pretty, because right now it's a big redstone ugly mess. So we need to work on gathering materials. So I've actually put a little list together here of all of the major items that we're going to need. As you can see, this is the one that has like quite a lot of resources. You've got 5 shulker boxes of stone, 3 shulker boxes of lime glass, and all of this sort of stuff. So we need to begin working on that. And to do that, I think I'm going to open up stream and just see how many of these resources we can get done in one stream. Okay, we are back and we have actually managed to get a lot more of the resources than I thought we were going to during that stream. So we can actually tick off quite a lot of these. So we've got all of the lime wool here. So let's just cross that out, make it gray. We've also got the lime carpets, the lime stained glass pane. We also got the andesite, which was quite nice. The concrete, the frog lights we actually got from Happy Stunt. So that's really nice. And then we also got the lime glass. Now, the final 2 is 5 shulker boxes of stone and 8 stacks of smooth stone. Now, we don't seem to have any more bamboo. Let me go quickly check. I think we're still sitting at the same position. Yeah. So we're still waiting for a stockpile of the fuel reserves to kind of stock up and get ready. So we might have to go and grab all of this manually. So in order to do that, we need to go to the overworld and maybe start working at our mine. Okay, flying over to our base in the overworld, we actually need to head down to our mine, which we designed and added this big fan to quite a few episodes now. But we've been doing some work, slowly chipping away at it over on some streams. So definitely go check out my Twitch if you want to kind of keep up to date with everything going on. As you can see, we've got now a new floor and we have our central kind of ventilation shaft, which has our giant fan up at the top going down the middle. And my plan is to kind of have these sorts of walkways running all the way around on each floor. And then behind our walls, we will have our strip mines or like with this one, we just have a giant kind of area, which is where we can just chip away and get a bunch of stone and resources and things like that, which again, I've been doing on stream. So I think let's place down our shulker boxes and let's try and fill these all up with stone, shall we? So let's go quickly do that. Okay, another section of the mine taken out and a very sorry looking pickaxe down here, which I have already had to go and repair once during that. But we've managed to get a good amount of stone and a bunch of other resources from this. We actually have 4 full shulker boxes and just a little bit extra of stone just from mining out this area. However, I forgot that I have bulk storage upstairs and I managed to get 3 more shulker boxes of stone just that was sitting around upstairs. So we are definitely going to have plenty of stone to get this project done. However, we are actually going to need to smelt a good chunk of it to get some smooth stone. So I think let's head back over to the end and figure out what to do about that. Okay, so let's just place our 5 shulker boxes of stone down here, and then we can go and put the others in storage just so we have a backup. We had 2 shulker boxes of stone in here. I didn't even need to go mining. Okay, anyway, how much smooth stone do we need? We need 8 stacks, which we actually, looking at that, I should have checked my storage. We have enough inside of our storage room, which means that I think I just need to spend a little bit of time gathering all the other little pieces of materials, and then we can actually start building. So I will see you after the time lapse. Let's do this. Hello everybody and welcome back from that time lapse. We have now built our engine room and I'm going to tell you what, I think this might be one of my favorite builds. I really just love how it's come together. But before we head in, I want to show you this. I have come up with an automated door design that I think I want to use throughout the space station. It utilizes the audio player mod that we have with custom sounds. So I'm just gonna be quiet and let you hear this. How cool is that? It is motion detected and it has some really cool little door sounds, and the light turns on when it's ready to be reopened. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. I think it adds to the kind of space station vibe, and yeah, I'm really happy with it. But obviously we are here in the engine room. As you saw from the time lapse, it's probably going to go again. Yep, there you go. As you saw from the time lapse, we kind of strayed a little bit away from the main design. My original idea was it to be quite circular with a big ball of energy in the middle. But I kind of had this idea to have this kind of big blob of kind of oozing liquid that kind of drips into this pool that we're kind of like funneling up, I guess, and using as fuel throughout the rest of the space station. And I thought it looked quite cool and quite mysterious. So I'm really happy. I'm really happy with the texturing.
and the way that it looks and everything. And an interesting extra little thing that's happened is that because we're in the end, it's actually really bright in here. When I was building this in a creative world, it's actually quite dark. So we're actually able to see a lot of things a lot nicer. But as you can look around, we've got a bunch of decorations. We've got a bunch of fans along this wall. Obviously, our 3 super smelters on each of the walls. And as you saw before, our layout of all of the furnaces and everything that is all just hidden behind out there. The floor just follows a very similar design as we've got in the overworld, which I really, really like. And then up at the top, we actually have a catwalk running all the way around that actually leads to another little room just over here. Yeah, so if we fly on up, you can see that we actually have the catwalk that's running all the way around, and it gets us a better view of the kind of blob in the middle, as well as kind of all of the details along the wall and everything. We also have some automated fans, which I really, really love. It's probably about to get really loud, so I do apologize. But yeah, I think it's a very fun addition to the base, and I think it looks very, very cool. But obviously, if you come all the way around, we come to this room, which I'm kind of imagining a little bit of like, not the main control room, but you know, something that's kind of measuring the output of the blob. So we will be getting to decorating that another episode. Yeah, I just really love how it's all come together. I really love the pool in the middle and adding all the kind of like globular bits that are rising up and all of the details on the walls and everything. And the fact that this is a functional room that we can actually come and smelt a bunch of items. So yeah, I am very, very, very happy with this. We still don't have a lot of fuel. This is just going to take a while to back up. But once this hits 3 or 4, I don't think we're ever going to have to worry about fuel again. And we can just use this as much as we want without any issues at all. But yeah, I think with that, this is where we're going to wrap up the episode. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. It's just a reminder to comment your favorite name suggestion for our fossil in the museum district, as well as if you would like a custom little robot, make sure to check out my Patreon. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I've been APuzzledSlime. This is HomeSMP, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.